Industrial Talk is brought to you by Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks offers zero trust for your operational technology without the PTSD. If you're in the digital transformation game, keeping operational technology secure and running smoothly is a tall order. It's enough to make any coolest operations director wake up in night sweats. Palo Alto Networks Zero Trust OT Security delivers comprehensive visibility and security for all OT assets, networks, and remote operations. It provides best-in-class security while simplifying OT security management. It sees and protects everything in the network, and it automates threat detection while implementing zero trust across all operations. So sleep better at night knowing you have the most comprehensive platform to detect, manage, and secure your OT assets. Learn more about the Palo Alto Networks Zero Trust solution. Go out to paloaltonetworks.com. That's paloaltonetworks.com. Find out more. You will not be disappointed.
Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott MacKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk, and thank you for your continued support of a platform that is dedicated to you. Industrial professionals all around the world, you are bold. You are brave. You dare greatly. You innovate. You solve problems. You collaborate, and you make the world a better place. That's why we celebrate you on this Industrial Talk platform, and it is a platform that you need to be more involved. It's an ever-expanding ecosystem of industrial professionals that you need to collaborate with, like the one that we're going to be talking to today, Brandon. Abrasive Systems, the Titan Abrasive Systems, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what it means to be made in the USA. What are the steps? Does it make sense for you to do that? Brendan has all the answers. Let's get cracking. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of work that goes into Made in USA. But is it worth it? You got to listen to the podcast. I think it is, but you got to listen to the podcast. It's a lot of work, but you can do it. I'm sure you can. Anyway, couple of notes. One, we're gearing up for 2024. That's one thing. Two, we have a lot of events that we will be scheduling and we will be attending. And if you go out to Industrial Talk, you'll see the events, and it's expanding. Don't get me wrong. But if you find yourself at one of these events that I'm broadcasting from, come on by and say, Scott, I want to talk to you. That's it. What is industry? Industry is just a collection of wonderful people that are solving problems. I say it all the time. So it is a human discussion, and your story, this is where industry meets the power of media. You need to tell your story, whether you like it or not. It's important to your bottom line. It does. It makes an impact. We also have a lot of training that exists out there on Industrial Talk. I'm doing a series on my marketing approach to how I get the name out there. It's sort of the nuts and bolts, and we release a class every week. Then I have the program of why you need a podcast. That's more of a leadership thing. And then I have one that's on leadership. I have around 6 classes that exist out there, and we're going to be doing more. And highly recommend. Go take a gander at them and, sign up. Learn more. Make 2024 a resounding success. All right. Brandon Acker is his name. Titan Abrasive Systems. Made in the USA. What does it mean? What are the steps? Does it impact the bottom line? All of that. Great conversation. A must listen to. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about you interested in that, I'm telling you right now, This guy, this company has done it, and they know exactly what to do. And I'm sure that they would be more than happy to share their secrets, because we're all about, one, educating, we're talking about collaborating, and we're talking about innovating right here, right now. All right, let's get on with the conversation. Brandon, welcome to Industrial Talk. How are you doing today?
Scott, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Excellent, man. I'm pretty excited about it. Is it a good day for you? Where do you call home?
We are in Warminster, Pennsylvania, suburb just outside Philadelphia.
Is it getting cold?
It's getting cold, yes. Even a little snow this morning.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm jealous.
Snow I don't mind. I could do without the cold. The cold's rough.
How do you get the snow without the cold? I don't know.
That's true.
And Louisiana, it's Armageddon when it gets 50.
Yeah.
So, well, that's pretty cool. All right, for the listeners out there, we're going to start off by giving us a little background on who you are. We're going to talk a little bit about Titan Abrasives. Did I say, is it Abrasives or I'm looking at it? Titan. Abrasive. I'm looking at your URL. And then
everyone likes to add the S.
Because I'm abrasive.
We tell people to take us from selling the material from the equipment. We're Titan Abrasives selling the equipment. I think that's why everyone defaults to abrasives, because they're using abrasives in our equipment. I think that's where they're confusing.
See, there you go. Yeah. Little nuance there, a little piece of a nugget of truth makes sense. It's a little way to get to it, but that's okay. It's all good. All right, Brandon, give us a little background on who you are.
So, I'm a Philadelphian, born and raised. You know, go Birds.
Yeah, you guys lost. You guys lost bad.
We did. Yes, we're not going to talk about that.
No, we're not.
We moved past that. You know.
Yeah, we pushed that on.
Got out of our system. You know,
it's out of there. It's gone.
Yep.
That was a butt kicking.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah,
shameful.
but like, as if I have any, being down here in Louisiana, the Saints are. Got that old grimace look going on with the Saints.
Yeah.
All right, continue as we digress.
Yeah, so we're I'm the president of Titan Abrasive, which is a family-owned company. It was started by my uncle, 1953. I took over about 10 years ago, and have been at the helm ever since. We're abrasive blast equipment manufacturer, American made. We always have been, based outside of Philadelphia. Kind of always been in the area as well. The birthplace of abrasive blasting, actually, Philadelphia is. Just kind of
no way.
Yeah. Yep.
That's trivia.
Started right here. There's started in Philadelphia.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Heavy industrial contribution, most definitely. But between you and me, and maybe some of the people now they're better because they know that that's the birthplace of abrasive blasting.
Exactly. I'm sure that means a lot to many people out there. I'm sure.
That's right.
They'll sleep better tonight knowing
that. Right. Hey, honey, did you know? All right.
It might be a Jeopardy question. Who knows?
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Nobody ringing in on that one.
Nobody's
I'll take abrasive for 500 there, please.
Yeah.
Nope. No, I don't get it.
Nobody's ringing in but me, and I'm not on Jeopardy because that's the only question I'd be ringing in on.
You're yelling at the TV. I know it.
Finally, I got one.
I'm not that dumb now. All right. So the premise outside of this jocularity we're having, let's talk about what we want to talk about, and that is made in the USA. This was an interesting conversation that we had prior to this formal conversation where, for me personally, didn't know what it would take to become made in the USA, outside of the fact that, well, it's made in the USA, but there's a lot of steps and stuff that are involved with getting that made in the USA designation. Is that correct?
That is correct. A lot of little nuances to it. And not as easy as it sounds, or just to make something in the US. I guess it depends on what you're making. Smaller items might be pretty easy. Larger items, the more components that are involved in a system, the harder it gets, because there's a certain amount of those components have to be made in the US in order to say that the end product is made in the US. They're all dictated by the government. A couple different kind of different areas where they do that, like the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, they have their own designation. Whereas if you're, they're more in the promoting of it. If you're talking about your products, if you're claiming that your products are made in the USA, they want you to have, all or virtually all components of that product are made in the US. That's their designation. So they really want to stick to it. And
but see, that would be very, that's challenging. That's where it becomes difficult. If as I continue to scale my business, right? As I scale, or I might have been small, and I could source my parts from various other manufacturers, and I got it. But as I continue to scale, the complexity, the ability to be able to sort of overwhelm my existing suppliers just becomes more obvious, right?
Yes, exactly. Yep. The bigger you get now, and now you have more components, more vendors. Now you have to vet all those vendors to make sure, are they really making those components in the US?
Yeah. So
especially when you get into like automated, more electronic stuff. Certain things are harder to find than others. Electrical stuff, electronic components are pretty tricky. Yeah,
and I would imagine your product has electronics to it. I saw a video, and it was swirling and sucking and doing what it needed to do, and it just didn't happen because of, it happened because there was power going to it. So you're challenged with that.
Yep.
So you have FTC, and then what's the other? You have made it.
And then it's if you're selling to the government, then you're under the new Buy American Act, which is the government is that new bill that they're trying to buy American. And in order for them to purchase American, you as a vendor have to meet their criteria, which is a little more precise than the FTC's all or virtually all. The government, the Buy American, actually gives percentages. So we were at 55% of all the components of a system had to be made in the US. That just went up this year to 60%. And then next year it goes to 65%. And then I don't know why there's a gap to, it's going up to 75%, but not until 2029. So there's a little window before they make the big 65 to 75. I don't know why there's a 5-year gap in there.
You could have just said in 2 years.
Take a break. It was
70. You were just. I was working on the math. I was going, okay, another 5%.
All right.
5%.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. Kick it up 5% each. Nope. But I guess it's the government. They were like, whoa, we're going too fast. Let's slow it down. Let's give ourselves a 5-year break for that next part.
What is Titan at right now?
It depends on the actual component, which piece of equipment it is. Some of ours are well beyond that. We're probably 90, 95 on some smaller components are 100% all made here. Once the ones add some electronics into them, unfortunately bring us down a little, because some things are just, you can't source them in this country, unfortunately. But most of our stuff, I don't think anything we're below 80.
Yeah, so you're good to go.
Components. So we've been selling to the government for decades, so we don't really have to worry about it. But as you said, we've always done it, always focused on making things in America. But in 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was much easier. Not just because of the components, but years ago, everything was made here. Most things were made here.
Are you having the who's coming in and saying, let me audit you?
We have not. We have not been audited, or anyone checking on us.
Now I feel bad.
We hadn't been,
Yeah. Oh, geez. No.
Looks like next week could be a busy week for us.
I'm grabbing backwards now. I'm going, I don't know what.
Somebody locked the door.
Yeah. Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Oh,
no.
Yeah.
Not industrial talk.
Yeah. Shoot. I'm sorry. Now I feel bad. You're going to call me one day like, hey, Scott, guess what? Oh, what? Yeah, it's happening. Because I would imagine. I mean, you're fine. Is there a bottom line value to becoming that? I mean, we've already sort of mentioned the tediousness of it. Tediousness? That's not a word, but I'm going to keep it as a word.
I'd go with it.
It is going to. It's my show, and I'm going to do that. But it's tedious, and it requires a lot of paperwork and filing, and this, and that, and the other thing. Is it worth it?
That's a tricky question. Is it worth it financially? I'd say that's questionable. Is it worth it for us, personally, as a business owner, as a company? Yeah, for the pride and for keeping things made in this country, for the jobs it creates. Then yes, it's worth it. I mean, that's why we do it. We don't do it thinking we're going to get it's going to make us more money. We do it because we feel it's the right thing to do. We're Americans and we like to make, we have pride in what we do and like to keep things in this country, keep our own people employed here.
So take us
now because of COVID, it's helped with, the supply chain thing. That was an issue. Then COVID really pulled that one out. Like all of a sudden, whoa, yeah, now it becomes a big issue with supplies where fortunately we don't have quite as many issues because of our stuff being sourced here. We don't have those delays and bringing.
See, that's an interesting part. I mean, you're right. When COVID hit us and we recognized our supply chain is not as stable or strong or resilient to withstand that, and we hope it doesn't happen again. That was painful, but that's when everybody started talking about onshoring, nearshoring, reshoring, or whatever, and I can appreciate that conversation. Does the Made in the USA designation also address manufacturing parts in Mexico or Canada, or is that still like free trade type stuff?
It's still got to be source, country of origin labeling on everything. Yeah. So it's got to be for U.S. It's got to be U.S.
Yeah.
Even the new NAFTA doesn't.
I know.
Mexico, US, Canada thing just supposedly makes shipping things in and out a little easier, but doesn't really help in that.
The new NAFTA, nobody can remember what it was. Everybody's all
exactly.
It's the genetic, stamp on your Mariah. That's NAFTA. Oh, it's the new NAFTA.
The new. Whatever it's called, it's the new NAFTA.
Yeah, it is. Whatever it is, new NAFTA. Yeah. So take us through sort of okay, I'm a company. I'm interested in pursuing. Give us the good, bad, and the ugly and how to do that.
Probably starting with what are your components? Where does all your stuff come from? Who are your vendors? To take a look at that, and what does that involve? How many different components you buy from who, and how quickly you can figure out, just to see if it's something you want to get into or not. How many vendors do you have? Do you know if they're making product in the U.S.? Some of it will be easy. Some like, oh yeah, they're down the street. We know they're machine shop. Yeah, they're making everything. They're buying U.S. steel. That's easy. Some will be more difficult. That's just in the sourcing of it to see if you can even hit that designation. If your products how many of your products are already made in the U.S. What will that entail? Taking on we're only 10%. We got a lot of components we have to try and source here. And then I'd also consider what the big thing is. is it right for you? Is it worth that? Obviously, it would be nice if everyone did it. It would make our country a better place, keep our jobs here. But for the bottom line of a lot of small businesses, it might not. It's not something that might. It's not going to increase your bottom line. Maybe it's maybe will it appeal to your customer base? Or are they interested in that? Are they interested in products made in the U.S., which could help you, or some. If they don't care, maybe it's not you're going to do a lot of work for nothing. And what does it mean to you? If it means a lot to you to go down that road and the pride of making things in the country, making a better product, then by all means, yeah, definitely worth it.
It was
for us. It's a no-brainer.
How do you? The first thing that I have my existing suppliers. I've worked with them for years. I understand and I know their quality. If something came in and it's not meeting my specifications, I know I can call John and say, John, what's going on, right? And then be able to have that relationship, that dialogue. Mm-hmm. You'd have to go through the process of actually determining whether the quality is meeting your specifications, and there's a lot of work with that.
There's a lot of work, and quality-wise, as a business, you should pretty much already know that. What's the quality of the components you're getting in, if you're having any quality issues with them. I know for us, if we compare a component that's a globally sourced component with American made, some they're close. They get very close, and some it's a no-brainer. There's a huge difference in them. Some products, just the weight of them, like, wow, this component is half the weight. It was just cheaply manufactured. Consistency on components, that are sourced from overseas. It's great. Like, oh, this means this is a great product. Looks the same, but it doesn't mean the next batch is going to be, or after that. What their tolerances are that they're going to hold for those components. That's the issues that we've run into, even on smaller components that we've tried to source, and sometimes we've ended up making them ourselves, or trying to, all right, we got them now because it's just too hard to find, and they're not holding those specs. So what we get this week is not what we're going to get next shipment.
Is it a good business practice to evaluate your suppliers, and just constantly look for other vendors to provide, and it just sort of keep that wheel moving? Is that a good practice to be in?
I think it's always a good practice to keep up with it. And we try to keep at least a couple suppliers of every component kind of in our system, so we know if something happens, we always keep a backup. We have a backup source to get that component from, if it exists, and always just to make sure everyone's doing their part. They're making the same product. The pricing is good. Kind of just keeps everybody in line. When you keep checking on that.
Yeah, and I would imagine it's also good for quality. Saying, okay, hey, we're competitive. Your hamburger's delicious. Their hamburger's delicious. Try to improve upon that hamburger.
Yep. It's competition. Competition makes us all better. Makes a better product for everyone.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% on that. I have a side question to ask you. Is it Titan Abrasive? Do you deal in large, big stuff, small? I mean, give us sort of I just want to know how big you guys go.
Big on our equipment.
It's all technical. It's a technical conversation. When I wave my hands, and that this is big and this is not so big. So just it's all engineering.
It's like
that's all, because I have no words to put together. I go, I mumble, and then I raise my hands, and that communicates importance. I don't have a clue.
I many times see our engineers out in the shop just walking around. This, I need this big. No,
it's exact. It's an exacting thing. Yeah. No. Big, small, no limitations, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, our components, the smallest is probably like a portable blast machine. Is probably our smallest thing. It's a tank. Our smallest one's maybe 16 inches in diameter. It's a tank maybe 4 feet tall. That would be our smallest component that we would have. That someone might use that, portable blaster to blast. We have farmers that use them. They blast their tractor. Clean the rust off, repaint them. Out in the field, that kind of thing. Then they go up to like, a blast cabinet's going to be a decent size. 4 foot by 4 foot plus some equipment behind it. And then getting big, we go into our blast rooms that are big enough to pull an airplane in or a tractor trailer. Long pipelines that the pipeline companies are making, so they can be they can get pretty big.
Yeah, that's cool. So it's much bigger than this. If you're out on video and I'm just holding, it's bigger than that.
It's bigger than I can measure with my arms. Yes,
it's scale. It's scale. Anyway, what's the roadblock? I mean, if I wanted the USA designation, made in the USA designation, but there's going to be roadblocks. What's the biggest roadblock you could see for me?
Probably two would be finding those components here. Like I said, probably electrical components. If you're heavy into electronics, some of those are going to be hard to find here. The other big one's going to be cost. If you're not prepared for that, some things are not bad. There's not a huge difference in the cost. Some are pretty substantial. They can be 3 times the cost, 3-4 times the cost of what something globally sourced is going to be for a component. But you just got to run the numbers. I mean, you just got to run the numbers, and it might not be everything. It might be a component you can. You can source that small component. It's not going to give up your made in the U.S. designation. By you got to pick and choose. What you're going to do.
All right. So I'm interested. I want to become made in the because my bench is very shallow. I'll just give myself this designation right now, right, real time. Made in the USA. I'm sitting here in the USA.
Yep, you were sitting.
I'm right here. How do people get a hold of you, Brandon? If they're saying, I want to know more about this, I need help, I want to get some insights, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, if you want to know about us, probably easiest way is our website, titanabrasive.com. Singular, no S on the end of abrasive. Just titanabrasive.com.
Hold. You have abrasive.com? You have that URL?
Titan Abrasive.
Okay, I'm going, holy cow. There you go. How about I listen? There you go. Titan Abrasive. It'll all be out there on Industrial Talk. And you'll be
to our website. All our info is on the website.
There you go.
You can find links to it. Find us on LinkedIn as well. But phone number, email, all that stuff's on the website. You can email us if anyone has any questions on Made in the USA or what's involved in it. Yeah, feel free to reach out. Happy to help.
Well, you were cool. I enjoyed this conversation. A lot of fun.
Well, thank you. Me too.
Go Birds.
It's funny. There was actually a recent thing on the Made in the USA. I just saw something posted from the FTC that they just got a company recently that was posting online that they were American, 100% American made. They were veteran owned, and they worked with the military. And the FTC basically, nope, they're not veteran owned. There are no veterans that own the company. They're not made in the USA. They're sourcing everything from China, and they've never worked with the military. So be careful what you put out there.
Yeah,
they're coming for you as they should. That's
wow.
False claims are not good, especially you're claiming some things, but when you go after the veteran, that's a rough one. Claiming you're a veteran when you're not, that's a shame.
That's that stolen valor thing.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. No. No. No, I'm not. So don't even worry about it. I didn't go down that road. All right, Brandon. Thank you very much. Hey, we're going to have all the contact information for Brandon out there on Industrial Talk. So reach out. Made in the USA. You got to figure that out. So thank you very much for joining. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
Made in the USA. Those are the steps. Brandon delivering the lumber on how to do that. We're going to have all the step-by-steps out there. Listen to the podcast. If you want to do it, well, reach out to Brandon. Titan Abrasive Systems with an S. Make a note of that. All right. I keep saying it. I say it all the time. We are building a platform. We're always building the platform. Your message needs to be amplified. Your influence needs to be expanded. It's important. That's why Industrial Talk is here. We have all the contact information out there. You want to get a hold of me, go out to Industrial Talk. I even have a robot that I message people right off the bat. It's me. It's a human being. It's me. Have a conversation with me. All right. Hang out with Brandon. Be bold, be brave, dare greatly, and you're just going to change the world. I guarantee it. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.